Okay, we're going to take a break in just a few moments. Before we do, I'd like to talk a little bit about the relaxation exercises, the relaxation readings that we've done, and I want to talk about your take on those various readings. So, if you would first just stand, because we've been sitting for a little while. Do you remember when you were in your first year of law school? Do you remember that moment? Do you remember that era in your life? Do you remember that? Remember? Do you remember being in a class, that first class where you got called on? Do you remember? Most everybody, or maybe not everybody got called on, but some people somehow, for better or for worse, make their way through it. Do you remember being called on?
Yes.
What class?
Torts.
Torts. Even saying torts was like a tortured torts. Right. What class was it for you? Do you remember? Civ Pro.
Con law.
Con law.
Civil procedure. Civ Pro.
Elements. Okay, so we remember, right? Now let me ask you a question. You're sitting there, maybe you were standing in some classes, but you're sitting there, minding your own business. Now whether you knew it or not at the time, but now because we spent a whole bit of time talking about it, what was right in front of you, on the desk in front of you, whether you were aware of it or not? Your
Snow globes.
snow globe. Your snow globe. So there you were sitting with your snow globe. By the way, as you have in front of you now, whether it's here, it doesn't matter. Whether it's here. Now, when your name was called, and we all have different experiences. I loved my experience in law school. From beginning to end, it had its moments, but I loved law school. So everyone's got their own experiences. It doesn't mean there weren't some moments where I wasn't loving it, to be sure. But I love law school, and I love the moment of being called on in class. But I remember when Professor Quarles in criminal law, we had criminal law first year, called on the person next to me. And it was like a and I was like, Now what happened to my snow globe in that moment? Right?
5.
What?
5.
5, right, it was a 5, there's no doubt about it. Part of it was exciting, part of it was, I was terrified, there's no doubt about it. I was like, and it's not a choice, I'm not making a choice, it's just an instinctual, like this survival, primal kind of thing. I'm in this new environment, I'm getting called on, my reputation, I think, all these things, just 5. Did Professor Quarles, Jim Quarles, a very wonderful teacher, did he walk over to me and go, let me have that snow globe? There you go.
Might as well have.
He might as well have, right, he might as well have. But he didn't. In fact, it wasn't even my snow globe that was the direct target of his thing. It was the person next to me, right? So whatever you want to call that, contagion. So no one is shaking our snow globe. And this in some ways gets to, you all have your different experiences. Some of us were so petrified, and I don't mean in this classroom, just in general, we don't even go to class that day. Other of us are just like, hey, whatever. And everything in between and around it. And pick your own different situation. We all know those situations where the 5 happens without us even a moment earlier having the slightest realization it was going to happen. Or maybe even saying, I'm not going to let it happen, I'm not going to let it happen, I'm not going to let it happen. And there it goes. So we all know those moments. But no one's shaking it. Who's shaking it if anybody is? We are. But really, we're not even shaking it. We're just sitting there saying, right? Just sitting there in our little snow globe with life. But what we're exploring here, and as Deanna nicely zeroes us in on, is, but we're watching ourselves in the midst of our experience. Not detached, like I don't care, because that can happen. Because we don't forget, but that's me. I care. But I'm not, and the way you said it very nicely, Alexis, I'm not identified so this way with my experience that I can't also have the capacity to have some observational relationship to it. This week our readings get into mediation and negotiation. And in one of the wonderful books that we'll have a nice reading from, called Getting Past No, Negotiating with Difficult People. And if you're familiar with the book Getting to Yes, this is one of the co-authors of it. And in the chapter that we'll read, or the portion that we'll read, which is called Don't React, right? Don't react, which I'm sharing with you, I would look at it, don't overreact, because if it's unclear. There's a nice little quote from Ambrose Bierce. Speak when you are angry and you will make the best speech you will ever regret. Right? Write an email when you're angry and you'll write the best email you will ever regret. Or not. But the key is, the nice thing about mindfulness is it also works with regret. Because regret kicks up the snow globe. Can't believe I did it. Oh my God, how could I have said that? Oh, interesting. There I go. Lost in regret. Now I have a little bit more of a skillful way to work with that. And so this chapter is called Go to the Balcony, right? And it's a metaphor for being able to, in the midst of that negotiation, going to the balcony. What do you think we're able to do at the balcony level? Much. Nice. But it's not like leave the negotiation. I mean, sometimes you do say, I think we should take a break. But it's not like you just leave the negotiation. How do you have that? So this is what we're exploring, and hopefully